Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a commentary for my daily 1668 Shogun run. So first off, this is a very different mission from the last one I did a commentary on. The last mission was about keeping tightly to a general plan with consistent execution. But this one is quite a different story. There's a fair amount of adapting to the situation depending on how the plan works out. This mission is hard. There is a lot of planning regarding ramp use to achieve a balance between speed and survival. This run was my first and only clear. Also, unlike the last mission that I did a commentary for, the main weapon cycle does not really matter in this mission. There's usually enough energy to deal with everything using BS. With that, let's get into the mission. First off, Act 1. As before, half speed video. I'll talk a bit about choosing the ramp wave in Act 1. There's a choice of either 1-1 or 1-2. Sometimes it can be better to ramp 1-2 instead, if 1-1 is very light on invaders and 1-2 is very hard to clear quickly. In this case though, because 1-2 has the same formation and 1-1 is just barrels, and the bullets generated in 1-2 aren't really too much trouble, it's better to ramp here so that there won't be a noticeable cooldown later in 2-1. Ramped. Here's where I need to explain another thing I missed in my last commentary. Shogun's main weapon targeting. Most of the time, Shogun's main chooses its target randomly, but there is an exception to this. If you are able to fire immediately when the first enemy spawns in a wave, it will try to aim for the target that is closest to directly in front of you. So in this case, you can see these two. If there is nothing straight ahead, it will search in either direction for the next closest angle wise. So back to this wave. I aim to slash the right side first, so I position roughly below the bottom sparrow, slightly off to the side is fine. This will guarantee that the main fires in a way that hits both sparrows. At the same time, I move up quickly to graze the Murph on the back of this sparrow, so this gives me plenty of energy for the next wave. Then I use the main to clear off the other two. It would be ideal if they happen to line up in a way that I can kill them in one slash, but that's really unlikely because I went to graze the Murph. The mission is hard enough, it's not worth restarting the run to hope that it happens. So from here on, 1-3, BS instantly clear. And likewise 1-4, BS instantly clear. And so we're done with Act 1, Act 2 next. Going to 2-1. Similar to Act 1, it's sometimes better to ramp 2-2 instead of 2-1. But in this case, because of the potential Murph pellets from the middle sparrow, it's better to ramp 2-1. Ramp and 2-2. Stay in the middle so that the main will hit the Raven. BS and dash up to grab the energy. Then on the way down, try to graze the pellets for some more extra energy. You can see the little circle aura which indicates a graze. 2-3. BS to clear, then as much as possible try to move up because you need to grab all the energy you can for 2-4. So try to weave through the pellets. 2-4. As you can see, Heron plus 2 Ravens. Quite a bit of HP. I fired my BS a bit too early, so I ended up needing 1 slash per Raven to finish off the wave. But overall, it was still satisfactory. Act 2. Act 3. 3-1 and 3-2 present a pretty uncommon challenge for ramp wave choice. 3-1 and 3-2 are both filled with Murph sparrows. An ideal scenario is if it's somehow possible to BS clear 3-1 quickly, then ramp 3-2 to clear all the pellets from 3-1 and the sparrows in 3-2 at the same time. But realistically, that's not possible. If you try to BS 3-1 to try for a 3-2 ramp instead, the pellets from all these sparrows would prevent you from getting a good ramp in 3-2 anyway, or otherwise they might just kill you. So it has to be a 3-1 ramp. Ramped. Admittedly, this looks pretty messy to deal with all these Murph sparrows. But nonetheless, BS and deal with all the pellets that come afterwards. Slowly try to work through the pellets. 3-3. Hope you get as much energy as possible, then BS as soon as the ravens spawn in. Because if you let them fire their mercs, especially the front ravens, it makes the current situation much worse. So BS and cleared. Leaving 3-3, there should be not too many more pellets left to deal with, and plenty of energy to collect. So max out BS and fire. And Act 3 is done. Next up, Act 4. This is where it starts to get really messy. 4-1. Ramp as low as possible to avoid grabbing the energy here. I'll need it in 4-2. Here, I only need to ramp the sparrows. BS has enough energy to kill the eagle regardless. After the eagle is down, go up and grab energy. And I say after the eagle is down, because there's a chance that it might get to fire these shurikens before it dies. And that can kill it if you just charge straight in. So, grab as much energy as possible. 4-2 needs the biggest possible BS to start with. This is an insanely dense wave. There are so many sparrows here that it would be really nice to ramp here, but there are multiple problems with this idea. So, first idea. One thing I could try is to overheat ramp 4-2. That is to say, ramp 4-1, clear it, then start a very slow ramp charge for 4-2, and pray nothing in 4-2 kills me before it fires. But this would make ramping 4-3 impossible, and 4-3 absolutely must be ramped. We'll see why later. Second idea, maybe instead of ramping 4-1 and 4-2, I just try to BS 4-1 and then ramp 4-2. Nope. If you try to BS 4-1, the pellets from these sparrows will make it impossible for you to get into position for 4-2 ramp, no matter where you started 4-1 at. So instead, this is what I had to do. Start at the middle to let the main slash target the raven, then fire BS to kill as many things as possible. This creates a massive pellet mess, so I have to focus entirely on dodging for the rest of this wave, while just letting my main slowly clear off these remaining sparrows. One thing to watch out for is these lanes, entire areas where no sparrows manage to fire their shurikens into. So I head in there, carefully navigate through the lane while watching for incoming pellets. And with that, the main has cleared out the rest of 4-2, and next up is 4-3. This is the first major obstacle in the run. 4-3. So here, the vulture is a pretty huge problem. It has T4 bloomers and it is so close to the front. There's no way I can dodge the bloomer mercs pellets. I can use ramp one time to deal with one wave of bloomer mercs. A second bloomer wave will be the end of the run. So my primary goal here is to kill the vulture before it can fire a second bloomer wave. So I need to do this really quickly. A hull vulture has 270 HP. So here's the plan. Start in front with a full BS. Fire BS and then we'll have done 100 damage. Just as the BS is about to end, dash up for a ramp. I need to pray that neither of these sparrows come towards the middle. There's no way for me to dodge their shurikens if they do that. As you can see, their pellets are already this far down. If they had come towards me, I would be dead. So, ramp clears the whole back party and does 30 damage to the vulture. I was quite lucky and I managed to graze the bloomer mercs pellets for full energy. But even if I didn't, there's plenty of energy from the ravens that I could have used. At this point, I fire a full BS which deals another 100 damage. And I head back down to continue with main slashes, and that finishes off the remaining roughly 40 HP. 4-3, done. Going into 4-4, grab energy. This line of sparrows would be nice to take down with a ramp, but since I just used it in 4-3, I can't do that. Instead, I'll wait for the condor to spawn in before firing my BS. In the meantime, watch out for bullets from the sparrows. Now that the condor is in, stay near the bottom middle to let the gold shuriken turrets focus here. This is because there is a gap in the middle of their firing pattern, which would create a safe zone for me. For now, try to target only the MRF launches with BS. These must be taken down as quickly as possible. But in this case, I wasn't able to go low enough to target only the MRF launches. I still have all the turrets in range. While this is the best bet at killing the MRF launches, it's still luck based. Even if I had managed to go lower, you can see the Condor's cockpit is still unavoidable, so it could take away some damage from the MRF launches. And now, fire the first BS. Now that the gold shurikens have started firing at around here, and they won't turn while firing, I can then charge in to grab some energy. The best case scenario would be to graze the MRFs as well, but because of the pellets from the Sparrow's MRFs, I can't do that. Now hit in and back off. So it's starting to look a bit messy because in part mainly because of the MRFs, so do a defensive ramp to clear the field. And then get out of the bomb range. Aside from where I made the gold shurikens focus, notice that there's also another safe intersection point at the side here, so I can get in here and wait out the shurikens. And fortunately, the left MRF launcher is already down. In the event that it isn't, there's a reasonable chance I'll die after this. Now the gold shurikens started firing again. And this time, the shurikens are focused around here, at where I am, so I can sit here and wait. At this point, I wasn't really sure if I should fire BS and try to end this wave quickly. There was a chance that I would end it at a bad time and it would result in many layers of shurikens that I can't quickly get through when transitioning to 5-1, which would end the run. So I chose to wait for this wave of shurikens to pass and let main slashes kill it. As you can see, many layers. I was wrong. It's still not easy to get through. But I was really lucky and was able to dash to a spot to instantly clear 5-1 with a ramp. And yes, 5-1 has to be ramped. Way too many more sparrows there. Leading to 5-2. Here, my focus is to try to clear one side as quickly as possible, because I need to be able to stay at a certain height when 5-2 is done. The main idea here is to stop MRFs from being fired on the side that I'm at. If it were ravens in the front here, I would not have needed to do this one side strategy. But because it's a Howl Heron, which has 63 HP, it will take a large chunk of my PS to kill, as opposed to a Howl Raven, which only has 27 HP. So, I decided to clear the right side. I started at the bottom right, letting the first main hit this Heron, and then firing a BS. And now, I try to push up against incoming MRFs. The second BS didn't really go too well. It killed too many invaders while there are still so many MRFs. So that's not particularly great for the positioning idea I had. And now, 5-3. The reason I needed to be ready at a certain height is to ramp this front party. But as you see, because of these MRFs, I can't quite do that immediately. And I had to go through, but luckily, I was still able to get into a good position to ramp, and that neatly cleans up the front. And now, there's a lot of energy here. Just unload BS on the Condor. Trying to focus on the front MRF turrets while I'm at it. This one on the right lasted a bit longer than I expected, so it was still able to fire this set of MRFs. But luckily, I was still able to dodge through it and get the position for 5-4. Really lucky that these sparrows don't fire immediately, so just ramp and main to clear. Now, I choose this as the starting position. Here, the gold shurikens on the left side can focus on me, so the shurikens go around me. You can see these are starting to intersect and form a decent gap that I can hide in. So here I wait and I get into the gap. But then I notice that the gap is starting to disappear because of the shurikens from the right side turrets. So I do a ramp for safety. This is because the shuriken turrets on the right side weren't able to turn fast enough to focus on this position for their first wave. So they will still form a bit of a mess for now. After the ramp, the area is much clearer, and quite luckily, these shurikens have quite a nice pattern that I can just go through. In the meantime, watch out for Mervs at the same time. Here, I notice a problem with the second wave of shurikens. The gap is already closing up over here, which means that they were focusing around there when they started firing the second wave. So I have to do another ramp for safety. I tried to get back to the gap, but no luck. I was blocked by the Mervs. From here, there's really not much strategy left. All I could do was focus on dodging and pray that the mission ends before I die. And one more PS. And quite luckily, I was in range and boom, the rock went down. My one and only clear of this mission. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Bye. And yeah, that scared me for a bit. I thought my connection died and my score wasn't being uploaded. But luckily, it was fine.